Alrighty, everybody. So we're going to get into the wonderful world of WebGL. Generally, well, let me take a step back. WebGL is essentially a way for you to embed a build format for you to embed your games into web pages. Um, and for the sake of this assignment, most of us are building in a Mac OS format, or sorry, we're building in Windows format, which makes it hard for those of us who work on Macs to run those games because you can't run a Windows game on a Mac. So we need to simultaneously make a WebGL version. Now you might be thinking, they're not going to play my game anyway. Well, people in the real world might. You should be having this on a portfolio of some kind, and having a WebGL build of your game will make it that much easier for people to just go from your website to where you're hosting the game and play. And we'll go through that. So actually, on that note, let's look at this. Before you get into the Unity part of anything, I would suggest going to itch.io and making an account. All right. And when you do that, I believe there's some settings for checking off, are you a developer? Ha ha ha, you guys all are now. So go ahead and make sure that you do check that. Uh, Go ahead and pause the video, get your account set up. You do have to verify your email. That'll get sent. You'll get an email sent. But we'll be touching back on WebGL in just a bit. So, next thing you see on my screen, I have Unity Hub up. There is, when you install Unity, you can see I have quite a few installs, you get the option for what packages you want to download with it. Most of you have already downloaded the Windows package. You can see here in this version of Unity that I have. I also have the iOS, Android, and WebGL package. If you don't have that in the version of Unity you're using for your project, we have two routes we have to go. One, if you click on this gear, you should see an Add Modules section. And this allows you, this is the menu you see when you install Unity. What do you want to add? You'll want to come over and add the WebGL support. Now, in class, a few of you had run into not having the option for Add Modules. Okay, if that's the case, I'm going to have to inform you, you have to uninstall Unity and reinstall Unity with WebGL and Windows. Be sure you add both, okay? And you want to make sure you write down what version you're using and install the same version just with these two. Now go ahead, if you don't have WebGL, pause the video and go take a look over there and get that all set up. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to go into our project and actually set it to a WebGL build. Okay. In order to do that, I'm just got a empty project here. Is actually pretty easy. What you need to do is you go to File, Build Settings, not Build and Run. A couple people defaulted to pressing that in class, so go to Build Settings and then open on my other monitor. And if you installed WebGL correctly, you should see it lit up right here. This game is on Windows, Mac, and Linux right now, but you'll want to go and switch over to WebGL. And we have this switch platform button right here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, this can take a long time. Okay, I have an empty project, so it should go rather quick. There we go. And you'll see that right now, build and run are not interactable. And I spoke too soon. Rewind rewind a bit in a second, and you'll see that there was a little warning right here. That's because down here, all your scripts, when you switch platforms, have to be converted for the new platform. It doesn't do anything on your end. It just goes and changes some stuff that Unity manages for us, so that way then your scripts are prepped for the new platform. Now, theoretically from here, we'd be able to go and hit build and have a WebGL build. But a bug in WebGL, Unity doesn't fully support WebGL. They're kind of trying to phase it out. So when they finally do, we will have to find a different solution for this problem. But up until then, we'll just do this. I need you to go to Project Settings. It popped up on my other screen. Give me just a moment. There we go. project settings, this is something that I would highly encourage you guys to start digging into and looking at what all of this is. You don't need all of it. Some of these menus I've looked at once or twice in my life. But getting to know your way around project settings is very useful. One of the most useful sections is the player section. And you might be thinking that this is the player as in the actual player, and that's not the player they mean. They mean the game player. So like the actual executable, the actual app, the actual APK if you're on Android. In this case, are HTML files and the associated files that go with it for WebGL. And you can see that we have, here's our desktop, here's our dedicated server, Android, iOS, and we should be, if we converted correctly, in WebGL. It's a little HTML5 section. Now, that's in publishing settings, under player settings, under project settings. I know that could be a lot of settings to go through. But what we need to do is change this compression format. Yours might be set to Brotli, it might be set to gzip, but what you need is you need it set to disabled. Okay, this is there's a bug in WebGL currently that it just, if you compress your run any kind of compression, it just gives you a warning and gives you an error. Okay, with that set, what you'll want to do is go back to build settings and build. Now I suggest, and this is actually just a good way to go about it anyway, do not build it into your Unity project. You'll know that you're in your Unity project if you see your assets folder, your packages folder, and your project settings. I'm just going to go to my desktop here and make a new folder specifically for WebGL examples. That's the name of my project, underscore WebGL builds. And for your project, let's say you have your project's name was Best Platformer Ever. You could say Best Platformer Ever underscore WebGL builds. And then you could do it again, but underscore Windows builds. So that way then you can keep track of what builds are where. Okay? And with that folder selected, I'm going to go ahead and select it. And because my game has nothing in it, this is just an empty project, it should be a very quick build. Yours probably won't be. This is a good time to go get a snack or go take a nap, because the first time you convert to WebGL, the first time you build to WebGL is generally going to take the longest. I mean, it's not done by the time I'm done talking right now, and I don't have anything in it. So imagine having a whole bunch of scenes and project files and assets in there. It's going to take a hot second. So we're just going to let this go ahead and build. Should be done in just a minute. It's getting there. Alright, well, we're going to go do the next part. So, if you're still watching the video and you didn't just fast forward, this is where I'm going to switch over to, what's it called? itch.io. So this is my account. You should have your account set up, and if you click on the name of it, you should be able to go to the dashboard. Okay, and look at that. I think the build just finished. Nice. So when you get to the dashboard, you should have a whole bunch of tabs here, but what you'll want to do is create a new project. Now, this will not work, once again, if you didn't verify your email with itch. So make sure you go and do that. But I'm going to name this project WebGL project. Right? And you'll see it auto makes a URL for us. You can edit this if you'd like, but keeping it pretty simple is usually the best bet. You can put a short description if you want. You can go to classification. The important things we got to do is kind of project, right? The whole purpose of this is so that you don't have to download files. So we'll go ahead and make this an HTML game. Okay? Now, release status, let's not be like those Steam people that say a game's released when it's really in early access or in development. Let's go ahead and just set it, claim it, say it's in development. Unless you are done with your project, then by all means switch this. Uploads we'll get to in just a second. You can look here we have this embed in page manually set size. You can leave those, but best bet that we've seen just amongst students who have already gotten this going is setting this to 1280 by 720. All right. Now, the very last setting that you'll want to do is go ahead and check this full screen button, because that'll at least let us like expand the game to a full screen type of deal. Let me just look through real quick. I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up. Now, my build finished. Let me get to that real quick. Let's see. Here we go. So we see that we have this WebGL example, WebGL builds, and this is what we get. So really what's going to be running is this HTML file. In fact, sometimes, and this is actually the reason that we are posting it up on itch, is this error right here, this big red box, is basically saying we can't get any of your assets from your Unity project because they're not stored anywhere. They're just stored on your computer. Okay? This is why we go ahead and put it on itch, because then when we upload our files, it will be storing all of our files. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go here. Let's take it a step back. This WebGL example, WebGL builds, that folder we made, we are going to compress it. If you're on Windows 10, obviously I'm on Windows 11 here, you'll want to go to, I believe it's send to is in the menu, and then it'll have like a little arrow over here, and then it'll be send to zip folder. But if I just do this, it'll give me a zip folder. And then what I can do is go ahead and hit upload file, show all files. Where's my zip file? There it is. And there we go. All right. Now, don't have people pay for your game. This is unless if it's still in development, just my personal opinion. Some of you memers might go ahead and make it cost something, but if you're at the playtesting stage and you want other students to playtest your game, maybe don't have them pay for it. This is looking good. The last thing that you'll need to do is come to the bottom and save. And it should load the game, run game, and you'll be able to see that my game is very interesting. It's that wonderful blue Unity background. Your game hopefully starts immediately. But let's go back to our project page. And in order for people to actually play your game, you'll need to make this public. Okay? Now, the very last thing, and this is specifically for if you're watching this for playtesting, you should save, obviously. I save it as many times as I can. Go to View Page, and what you'll want to do is take this link in your browser and put this in the Word document that you made on our Google Drive. You made a Word document with a link to your survey. You'll put the link to this right there at the same exact spot. You just put it right underneath the survey. And that should be how you get your game up on WebGL running on itch.io. And again, the good thing about you guys doing this now is you'll have this itch.io account. You'll be able to upload games for your portfolio once you start building that. And that'll be an awesome interactive way for you to get jobs, internships, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out if you run into any problems. Yeah, thanks for watching.